If you're searching for homes in Novi, Michigan, specifically looking at the Tollgate Woods neighborhood, you've come to the right place. In the next 10 minutes, I'm going to break down for you where the neighborhood sits, what the houses are actually like, the school situation, and what people are paying right now in the 2026 market. So let's get into it. I'm Nate Stahl. I'm a real estate associate broker and an attorney who've been working here in the Novi market for over 14 years. If you're looking to buy here in Novi, Michigan or the surrounding area, I have people just like you contacting me every day where I can share with them the information they need to make an informed decision when it comes time to buying or selling a home. You can find my contact information in the description below, and I look forward to hearing from you. So now let's get into the Tollgate Woods neighborhood. The Tollgate Woods neighborhood is located on Meadowbrook Road between 12 Mile and 13 Mile. It'd be in the northeastern quadrant of Novi. When you first pull up to the subdivision, you'll see a water feature, and then a waterfall and a sprinkler system. Very welcoming experience as you drive into the Tollgate Woods neighborhood. Tollgate Woods was built between the 2000 and 2010 timeframe by Singh Homes, which is a well-known builder and developer here in Southeast Michigan, specifically in Oakland County. And as you drive through the neighborhood, you will see that there is a central park that is a feature of Tollgate Woods. In that park is a gazebo with benches, and then a small park is there as well, playground for the children, and it's a great opportunity to have a gathering space. And there's also some walking paths leading from the park into the surrounding area, a little more natural sections of the neighborhood. One thing that's great about Tollgate Woods is its location, how close it is to just jump on the freeways from I-275, I-96, or M5. One question I often get is how close can I get into my commute by getting onto the freeways? Tollgate Woods is within a minute or two of the interchanges for the freeways, but yet it's tucked away and in a subdivision in a neighborhood that is actually near Michigan State's Toll Farms. And so as you go there, there's a petting zoo, and you learn a little bit more about what it's like to be farming in Michigan right here within the city of Novi. Pretty great experience for you and your children. The homes in Tollgate Woods are about 2,800 square feet to 3,400 square feet in size. Usually come with 3 to 4 bedrooms, 2 to 3 bathrooms, usually a half bath as well. And when you first walk in, you're coming into a cathedral ceiling foyer, and there's a very large family room. The kitchen normally has great cabinetry and granite countertops. And you'll find a second story. These are mostly, if not all, colonial homes. And most of them have finished basements as well. So the square feet is usually even greater than the 3,000. Sometimes between the basement finishing, you can even be up to 4,000, a little over 4,000 plus in square feet, which will affect pricing, which we'll get into a little bit later. One thing when you walk through the homes, you'll notice the quality of the work that was done. As I mentioned, it started about 2000, construction continued until about 2010. So these are not brand new homes. These are used homes. These are homes that other people, other owners have lived in. And so as you're looking at a home in this neighborhood, there's some things to pay attention to. So as you go through, you might quickly see how nicely the kitchen looks, maybe see some new paint. One thing I help my clients as we go through a home is we look at things beyond just the surface. I grew up in my father's residential real estate, a construction company, building a couple houses, renovating many homes. And I've also overseen houses that have been renovated. About 150 of them for my own company. We've bought and sold homes over the last 14 years. And as we go through the house, one thing I'll be looking at is the quality of some of the internal components of the home, such as the heating and cooling system, Be looking at the roof. Is there any signs of extra wear and tear that you could see from the ground? How are things going on in the basement, that finished basement? Is it disguising anything, or has it been well maintained here with the Michigan changes of weather and the 4 seasons of dealing with any moisture that may have come into the basement? Is there a proper water removal and sump pump system? So these are things we would look at and talk about as we walk through, even preparing you so that if you do put an offer on the property and you get an inspection, what are some things that could be highlighted or looked for during the inspection, and potentially even some associated costs if there's any of those things that may need to be worked on. As we go into the process of looking at a property at Tollgate Woods, one thing that you may or may not be familiar with, in most cases, most communities, most states, especially if you're moving in from an out-of-state location, are homeowners associations. So Tollgate Woods does have a homeowners association. They even have their own website, which you can find and learn some things about the neighborhood, about the subdivision. And one thing you'll see about the homeowners association for Tollgate Woods is that everything is well maintained. The park I mentioned earlier is well maintained, the gazebo, the playground. Even when you first come in with the water feature that's out front, and the signage, it's all well maintained by the homeowners association. One thing you need to make sure is when you're going through the purchase process is you get access to the bylaws, the master deed, anything that govern the rules and responsibilities of the association and each of the owners. One thing with my legal background, that when I review documents, I'm not acting as your attorney, but I do have the thought in mind, what if I was responsible for obligations and restrictions related to a homeowners association? So I would take a look at those. We look at them together, point anything out. If you're someone who has an RV, or maybe you have some recreational vehicles that you want to have parked in the driveway, that might be restricted. So those are just things to understand so that you're not caught unaware after you would purchase a property in a subdivision such as Tollgate Woods. As we look at Tollgate Woods and where it's located in Novi, many people come to Novi because of Novi's highly ranked schools, often the top school in Michigan and even the top 10 across the whole nation. Tollgate Woods is in a section of Novi that is serviced by Walled Lake Consolidated Schools, so not part of the Novi School District. Now, Walled Lake itself has great elementary school, middle school. Walled Lake's High School has an international baccalaureate program, which is unusual. That's actually an opportunity for someone who would be going to Walled Lake schools. And so if you're looking at Tollgate Woods, then it would be something to think about. If you're looking specifically at Novi schools, that's something for us to talk about, even maybe look at what areas, what sections of Novi, what subdivisions, to make sure you're actually in the Novi school district. If you're looking for Walled Lake schools, or if schools are not as big of a concern for you at this point, then Tollgate Woods is a great subdivision in regards to where its location, how quiet it is, how well things are maintained, and how quickly it is to get to other areas in the western side of Oakland and Wayne counties. For example, one of the nicest downtowns in this part of Southeast Michigan is Northville, within an 8-minute drive of downtown Northville, about 28-minute drive to Metro Detroit Airport, and downtown about 32 minutes. So not very far at all. And just down the street, a couple minutes, is one of the premier shopping centers, 12 Oaks Mall. And not far from there, we have the Imagine Theater in West Oaks, and many other amenities, and axe throwing, indoor go-kart, putt-putt, lots of opportunities for family fun and entertainment, and all within minutes of Tollgate Woods. And then everything else around the area easily accessible, partly because of how close it is to the freeways. So again, it's a great neighborhood, and just to understand the school situation. Now let's get into pricing. Here in Tollgate Woods, we see prices ranging from the mid 600,000s to the 700,000s and above. about 2023, you might have been able to pick up a house in Tollgate Woods for around the mid 500,000 range. In the last couple of years, we've definitely seen the market reset, not just in Novi, but specifically in Tollgate Woods, where we're seeing prices averaging mostly in the mid $750,000 range. And currently there's a house on the market for $829,000. And then a recent house just sold for just over $857,000. Those are the bigger homes, closer to the 4,000 square feet or above. But all homes right now in the last 2 years seem to be sitting in that $650,000 to $750,000, $780,000 range for a purchase price. Again, these are great homes, beautiful homes, solid neighborhood, well maintained, well cared for. You definitely want to understand what are all the costs associated with owning the home. If you're moving from the West Coast, say California, or maybe from the South in Texas, or maybe the Northeast, the state of Washington, or even the East Coast of Michigan, one thing to be aware of is Michigan's pop-up tax. The current owner has a taxable value that increases at a slow rate based on inflation or 5%, whichever is less. So when the new owner purchases a house, the taxable value is reset to the state equalized value, which potentially could be substantially more than the current tax rate that's being paid by the owner. So I help my clients go through and look at all that information, and we run some calculations so you understand your monthly expenses, so you'll see what's happening on your budget to make sure that cost of that house in that $800,000 or slightly below range, $750,000, $730,000, will fit within your budget. So there we are, Tollgate Woods, started by Singh Homes back in the 2000s through 2010, colonial built homes, large 2,800 to maybe even 4,000 square feet once you add the basement. Beautiful neighborhood, park center with a gazebo and benches and a playground for the children, some walking trails, easily accessible to shopping and for clothes, groceries, entertainment, all that within minutes. You can jump right on the freeways if you're commuting to work, let's say maybe Ford if you're going down to Dearborn, or even headed to the proving grounds for GM out in Milford, even some of the tech jobs and auto jobs even right here in Novi itself. Easily accessible to the I-275, I-96 corridors. Get right down to the airport in 28 minutes, downtown Detroit, 35 minutes. So it's a great location for raising a family. If you have any questions, you can reach out to me based on my contact information that's in the description below. If you've liked this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe, and come back for more information about Novi and the surrounding communities. See you again soon.